For the first time in the history of UCF Arena, a ranked team pays a visit. But can the Knights of UCF treat their fans to an upset as they say goodbye to their seniors? UCF at number 19, Memphis is next.
Spoiler alert. The UCF faithful are standing behind the beard. Keith Clanton, the senior who has played the most games in school history, has attracted a devout following, and the home crowd knows they can believe in the beard. The CUSA Bullies, the Memphis Tigers, invade Central Florida at the top of their run-and-gun game. Undefeated in conference, can Memphis keep their record unblemished? Or will it be a hairy experience that ends well for Central Florida? Conference USA basketball action is now.
Everybody, along with Barry Clark, I'm Rob Doolin. Perry, last week we saw Memphis win their 18th consecutive game, but the streak came to an end Tuesday night. They were beaten by Xavier in a game that Josh Pastner said we had very little energy. So is today a case that you can't let that game beat you twice?
Well, we know Memphis has the physical ability to go a long way. Today we have to see their mental toughness and resolve. They want to get a win here and play well.
Let's talk about UCF because they are not eligible for the conference tournament or postseason play. But if you think they have nothing to play for, you would be wrong. They're going after their 20th win today. And Perry, this is a tough team to play here in Orlando.
Well, this is a team with a lot of pride. It's a tough building. Whenever you have Clanton and Sykes, they can beat anybody.
And today, obviously, is senior day, honoring the senior class. And just a moment ago, their big senior, Keith Clanton, was introduced. A record-setting career here at UCF. With more on Clanton, here's Jen Hildreth.
Ron, you're going to see a lot of love for Keith Clanton and his facial hair in this building today. You know, Keith is from Orlando, and he has said, this is my town, it's my team. And with the career he's had here at UCF, few are going to argue with him. As we look at our State Farm State of Success player profile, you can see that Keith ranks #1 all-time at UCF in games played, rebounds, and block shots. He's 6th all-time in scoring, and he has never missed a game in his UCF career. Now that includes a very memorable one last year on this court against these same Memphis Tigers. UCF has never beaten Memphis in this game. Final seconds, A.J. Rom's shot off the mark, but Clanton is there for the rebound and the putback. That would mean this game would come down to a free throw. Clanton stepped up to the free throw line, makes the shot, and UCF would hold on for the 68-67 win, the first ever over Memphis in this series. So guys, today, the question is, do you believe in the beard? They certainly do here at UCF. These guys look a lot better. I'll let that
lineup. Josh Pastner, the head coach of Memphis, looking for his 100th win. He'll be going with Jackson, Johnson, Thomas, Steffens, and Goodwin, the usual starting five. This is a deep team. They can play a number of different positions. UCF is going to have to handle that today. UCF only 3 wins in history over ranked teams. They have a lineup change. Tristan Spurlock, their outstanding junior, is out because of a precautionary measure due to an injury. So the starting 5 will be Sykes, Walker, Newell. Wilson will be getting this start, and also, of course, Keith Clanton, as we mentioned in the open. Let's take a look at the snapshot, first of all, for UCF. And I think the thing that stands out, they've got 4 players for Donnie Jones, their head coach on the right, averaging almost 13 points a game. And for the Memphis Tigers, of course, their head coach, Josh Pastner, in his 4th season, 13-0 in conference play. They've already clinched at least a tie for the regular season title. And, of course, they had their 18-game win streak snapped. But look what they have done in March, 49-13 since 2005. And we are set. Steffens and Clanton will be at center court. And we'll get underway. UCF tried to keep it alive, and Perry was ready for the pass.
I tell you, this is really going to be an exciting game, Ron, because this Memphis team really wants to bounce back and play well, and UCF has a lot to play for today.
Let's see the energy that Memphis comes out, because Josh Pastner telling us last night that on 50-50 balls in that first half against Xavier Tuesday, they got none. He wanted to see what the energy would be like to begin the game. They go inside. Shaq Goodwin, no. Steffens can't get it. The tip won't go. Clanton gets his first rebound of the game.
But UCF is going to have to do a better job on the glass because Memphis has an advantage there.
UCF lost to Memphis in game 1, 93-71. The most points they gave up in a game in 2013. They were only down by 6 at halftime. Wilson has it blocked, takes it strong to the hole, can't finish it.
One of the things that UCF coaching staff wants to do, they want them to run more offense without losing their aggressiveness. Right. It's important that they stay aggressive, but they want them to be patient in their shot selection.
You can see Wilson, obviously an outstanding shooter, but from the free throw line, he is not so good. Only 62% on the season, and he's just 5 for 10 in the last 4 games from the line. And that wasn't even close, but he gets his own rebound, and they'll set it up.
Ron, a lot of time on senior day, there's a little nervousness with the home team.
Newell for 3, and he buries it. Calvin Newell, the transfer out of Oklahoma.
He really does a great job of spotting up.
That's a great sign for UCF, because you look at Calvin Newell, even going back to his days at OU, he's either very hot or very cold. Jackson, the jump stop, has to give it up. Thomas for 3. And Steffens comes down with it. Johnson, he'll launch the 3.
This is what teams want Memphis to do, become a jump shooting team, Ron.
Now they're shooting 45% from beyond the arc the last couple of games, but they're taking more than they have the entire season, about 21. Another block, but Clanton with his first 2.
And you notice that a lot of teams now are coming right at Memphis. They're driving the ball at them and making them have to stop them at the rim. Trying to get the bigs in trouble a little bit.
We saw that Southern Miss try to do that. Obviously, Xavier tried to do that. Steffens tries to force the pass to the inside, and a little sloppy, and it'll belong to Memphis. It's something. Last week we had 2 balls almost hit us, and today we got 2. It's you. It finally hit me. It's you.
I don't think so.
You're trying to hurt me, aren't you?
I've not been known for have good hands, so you better be careful.
Okay. Here's Joe Jackson, the junior out of right in Memphis, Tennessee. Johnson has his shot blocked. Clanton comes down with it. Very versatile player, Keith Clanton. 119 consecutive starts, whistle and a foul. And I think it's going to be on Shaq Goodwin. That is not a good sign. And Josh Pastner going to his bench immediately. Tarek Black will come in.
This is what they need. They need a big effort from Black. He started a lot last year, started part of this year. He's a veteran. And as it gets later in the season and tournament time, they need him to step up.
Boy, Shaq Goodwin picking up the foul. That really hurts Memphis. The floater. Tipped into the hands of Jaron Johnson. Black muscling inside, has it rejected by Clanton.
And that's the thing Clanton does real well. He's a guy that comes from that weak side and helps protect the rim for this UCF team.
60 blocks for Clanton this season. Memphis 0 for 5 to begin the game. DJ Steffens counted. It'll go to the line.
He is so athletic and explosive. He did not play very well against Xavier. He really wanted to come out and play well today.
Of course, free throw shooting. It was a big bugaboo for this Memphis team against Xavier the other night. DJ Steffens was very much a part of that. Jen, I tell you, he's really concentrating at the line today.
Well, and that was the key word yesterday, Ron. We saw them have a brief shoot-around here at UCF, and it was as quiet as I've ever heard it in a gym for free throws. And it was because Josh Pastner really wanted his guys to focus and concentrate on making the free throws. DJ himself, just 1 of 7 from the line in that game against Xavier. And you can see that terrible percentage, 33%, need to be better there. Absolutely,
especially when you get down as much as they did against Xavier and you try to come back and chip away at the lead. Shooting 33% is not going to help. Newell. Steffens comes down with it. Only 1 field goal for Memphis so far. Johnson sees a little bit of an opening. Thomas, the jump stop, switches to the left hand, doesn't get the roll. Clanton, another rebound.
One of the things the UCF coaches were worried about was turnovers and quick shots. They played Memphis very close in the first game, in the first half.
And then Tarek Black picks up the foul. That's the third team foul. Look at Josh Pastner going for his 100th win. And, you know, I think a lot of people were making a big deal over losing to Xavier Tuesday night. And granted, they didn't have the energy. But I don't think you can take away from the fact that they did win 18 straight. And conference regular season championships mean something. And I don't think Josh is getting the credit for that.
Oh, without question. And he even said it was a trap game because their goal at the beginning of the year was to win the league championship. They won the regular season the game before. And, you know, it's a hiccup. It's not a roadblock.
I mean, you and I were talking last night. Three things coaches like you like to do. You want to win the regular season, the conference championship, and go as far as you can in the NCAA. Without question, but he can use that as a model to help this team mentally get tougher and get ready for the march. Well, Black tips it out after the miss of Jaron Johnson, and UCF continues to struggle from the outside. Ron, one of the things, and UCF played them a zone the first game to try to make them take perimeter shots and had some success. Now they're playing a sagging man-to-man, basically trying to do exactly the same thing, make Memphis become a jump shooting team. Well, Memphis 1 of 8 shooting so far in this ball game. This is a team that's a pretty good shooting team at 48%, 49% in Conference USA, and their conference numbers are higher than their regular season numbers. Wilson's getting a little blood 10-2. They'll clean that up. He'll be back in a minute. I've always noticed if you're a good player, they try to clean it up. If you're not a vital they
player,
take their time.
They take you out.
Or take their time with you.
You know, but you talk about those shooting numbers, Ron. One of the reasons that Memphis gets a lot of those shots in transition as opposed to half court. And they have not really got a lot of transition baskets so far today. One thing UCF wanted to do, Donnie Jones telling us yesterday in a very spirited practice, is they need to run. They're not good at holding the basketball. Now you see Thomas. He's going to stay right on top of Newell. Sykes not being able to get away from Johnson. And this is what I'm talking about, them trying to milk the clock a little bit by executing and turning their offense over. 10 to shoot. Sykes has it. Tries to go baseline. Black stops him, but he pulls up with the left hand. And Ron, when you have a guy like Sykes, you can run the shot clock down because he's capable of making tough shots. Almost a great save, and it comes up to Newell, who'll get the easy two as Sykes went crashing into our table. Tremendous energy. This UCF team has come out really to challenge Memphis today. Memphis not matching UCF's energy here in the early going. Thomas. And Joe Jackson will try to settle things down. Look for a high ball screen right here. Black set it. Jackson loses it. Thomas will pull the trigger, and he quiets the crowd. Cutting the lead down to 6. And that's where Joe Jackson, I think, Ron, has become a much better player than a year ago in his control of the game. He's learning the game. Newell, a little fall away, and it drops. Somebody better guard him because he's got that look in his eye. He came off a pin-down screen and knocked down a jump shot right there, but he's playing with a lot of energy. He's got 5 in a ball game. Johnson on the inside. That's going to be an offensive foul, and that'll get us to a timeout. Keith Clanton with 3 points, 4 rebounds. He's now the 4th all-time rebounder in Conference USA history. UCF leads, but in the overall series, Memphis, they've only lost once as the Tigers have won 3 in a row. But I think the key is the last couple of meetings at UCF decided by 1 point. This season, we take it back to February the 13th. Memphis led by only 6 at halftime. Then they exploded in the second half, shooting better than 65%. Joe Jackson ended up with 21 points, 10 assists in the ball game. It became a dunk fest. Memphis goes on to win it 93-71 in a game that they almost doubled UCF up on rebounding also in that contest. UCF's got to get that taste out of their mouth. Well, the biggest thing right now is Memphis has 4 turnovers and UCF only has 1. And that's a major factor because Memphis leads Conference USA in assist to turnover ratio.
And Clanton will bring it in, and Memphis going to show a little bit of pressure. Newell 5 already in the ball game, gives it up to Daquan Walker, the freshman out of Philadelphia.
And Memphis has gone smaller right now to try to match the energy of UCF.
Now, Damian Wilson, number 11's checked into the lineup for the Memphis Tigers, the freshman out of Atlanta, Georgia, via Oak Hill Academy. Wilson on the drive, the penetration, uses the right hand. Casey Wilson out of Northport, Florida.
Great drive. And I thought they took advantage of the fact that Memphis was trying to overplay the passing lanes, and he had a direct line to the basket.
Biggest lead for the Knights. It's at 10. Wilson, the left-hander. Steffens just showing his jumping ability. Into the hands of Crawford. Johnson, the tough shot. No. Wilson tried to get it. Possession arrow will belong to UCF as it got stuck in the side of the basket.
Ron, on that last drive by Wilson, Shaq Goodwin, who's a freshman, was locked up on his guy and didn't come over to help. Right there, Shaq Goodwin was on the weak side. He should have stepped in there to take the charge, but he was so preoccupied with his guy, he wasn't there.
One of the things during a 3-game losing streak UCF had a problem with is when somebody came at him strong, in basketball vernacular, throwing a punch, they never responded. Here in the early going, UCF is controlling the action, nothing to respond to so far.
Well, Newell is really controlling the basketball most of the way.
Jackson, the pull-up from 16, and he buries it.
Now, this is where Memphis is dangerous, and this is why Josh went with a smaller lineup to try to get his transition game going. He went with more quickness.
And here's Isaiah Sykes. He's kind of a point forward position. Averages almost 5 assists a ball game. Gives it up. Wilson. That's his forte. Doesn't get it. DJ Steffens tipped it, but it belonged to UCF. Because
of the sizes on UCF is trying to run a lot of ball screen. Memphis can switch them because everybody's about the same size, so matchups are not really that important.
Daquan Walker goes out. Matt Williams checks in for Donnie Jones in his 3rd year. Won a pair of national titles as he was an assistant at Florida. He was there for 11 years with Billy Donovan. They first got together when both were at Marshall. Sykes, the left-hander, no. Goodwin pulls it down. Got to be careful keeping those elbows up. Jackson will pull up again. 2 in a row for Joe Jackson.
And that's the transition game, and that's what the substitution that Josh Pastner made was why he made it. He's trying to get this team out of that half-court game into that transition game.
Goodwin now leaning on Keith Clanton, who started out with a bang. Clanton trying to get position. They don't bring the double. He goes with the right hand.
One of the things with Clanton, Ron, is that he takes a lot of time on his moves. He's not a quick move guy.
Steffens inside for the 2.
Again, whether or not it's Jackson or Crawford, it doesn't matter. Memphis loves to push the basketball, and that's that versatility that we talked about.
Well, the 6-0 run, Perry, has cut the lead down to 4. Wilson was trying to post on DJ Steffens. This game is more of the outside. Shot clock at 8. Wilson has his strip. Goodwin had it. Up ahead, Damian Wilson for the jam. An 8-0 run for the Tigers. And they've made their last 4 field goal attempts.
Jackson did a good job of giving the ball up ahead of him. That's why he's become such an important leader for this Memphis team.
That's why he's averaging almost 5 assists a game, and another turnover. And here comes Johnson. Memphis starting to getting a little more confidence. Jaron Johnson still having problems from the outside. Not able to hit the jumper. And Sykes loses it again. 4 turnovers for UCF. Jack Goodwin with a right hand. Clanton Steffens on him, and he's able to use the body and the right hand effectively.
UCF looks a little winded right now, so Memphis has turned this pace up, and Josh is telling him to keep pushing it because UCF looks a little winded right now, Ron.
That's a great stat. You can see Memphis started 1 of 11, but they have been hot since then. Wilson lost it. Last touch by Memphis.
On from that, he kind of smiled and said, well, I had to develop a slight case of amnesia.
Yeah, you do. It's like a quarterback in football. You know, short-term memory is essential.
The great ones have the ability to do that.
Yeah, just forget about it. Newell up top, Jackson on him. That's a great matchup. Blair is checked into the lineup now for UCF. The freshman out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Inside of 10 to shoot.
Ron, going with the smaller lineup, Memphis has done a much better job of shutting down drives.
Clanton was able to get Goodwin up, and that's going to be offensive goaltending. Shaq Goodwin bit the pump fake. Clanton went around him and then tried to tip it in, but he's got to let it go over the rim.
Shaq Goodwin is going to be a really good player, but he's getting a little education with Mr. Clanton in the low post right now.
School's out. Crawford. Jack Goodwin. He is going to be fouled down to play, and that'll go against Isaiah Sykes. That'll be his first personal, and only the team's second. At the line, it'll be Shaq Goodwin, the very talented freshman out of Atlanta. 19 points versus Southern Miss a couple of games ago, but only 2 versus Xavier as he got in foul trouble. Making a big bluff can be one of the scariest plays in poker, but calling off a large chunk of your chip stack to pick off a bluff can be even scarier. Tune in to the World Poker Tour tomorrow to watch 2 of the game's best young pros go head-to-head in one of the most remarkable pots ever shown on the World Poker Tour. That'll be coming up tomorrow. Memphis still with a basketball. Clanton reaching over the back.
I tell you, I thought that was pretty good defense. But one of the things that UCF is trying to do, again, Ron, whether or not it's man or zone, they're really trying to sag and take away the inside game and make Memphis have to shoot jump shots.
Memphis on a 9-2 run after trailing by 10, and Goodwin can't get the bounce. Clanton tipped it over, and here comes Sykes. Should be playing the 3 spot. We mentioned playing more of a point guard. Clanton's got the basket. He'll visit the free throw line.
On that play, Memphis in their transition has to stop the penetration of the ball. See how deep he gets, what makes that pass easier. And when you give it to a guy like Clanton who can finish up around the basket, that makes it awful difficult on the defense.
Daquan Walker comes back into the lineup for UCF. Newell sits down. Goodwin goes out. Tariq Black will come back in for the Memphis Tigers. And here's a good look at Keith Clanton. Completes the 3-point play. Donnie Jones calls him a special young man.
Well, he is. And we can talk about it later. I mean, he had opportunities to leave because of the NCAA situation, decided to stay. And there's a lot of schools he might have been able to go to and play right away. So he really showed a great loyalty to his community and this school.
Class young man. He says, Orlando's my city, UCF is my school. And actually, he had to choose UCF 3 times when he first was recruited. And then when Donnie Jones took over, he had to decide whether or not he wanted to stay with Coach Jones. And then this past year. And he said, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. Your hat is off to that young man.
So much so. Oops. You okay?
I'll tell you, that is great effort. Running into camera people and knocking over chairs. Isaiah Sykes sacrificing his body.
I tell you, Ron, it must be you.
No,
we're going to need extra security. We've had 2 passes and 3 dive attempts right here. Tremendous effort. And that just goes to show you how important this game is to UCF.
Well, Jim, our cameraman, congratulations, partner. You took one for the team. He is okay. The officials came over and tried to make sure. He'll get situated here in a second as Joe Jackson with a nice little finger roll. I love seeing those kind of hustle plays. Dangerous, but it's great to see.
Again, we talk about how important this game is to UCF. They want to give this notch to a ranked team on senior day very much.
Walker misses badly. Crawford comes out of the pack. Got Thomas on the right. Jackson from 3. Goodwin almost reached over the back of Stephon Blair. Sykes quickly going to the hole.
See, Ron, I thought...
And stolen by Sykes. Took it away from Black. Left hand, no. And this time Black corrals it.
That was a tough shot by Sykes. Great effort. But I thought maybe they've got a lead to kind of slow it down.
Things are getting very physical in this basketball game. We've got a dandy coming to you from Orlando, Florida. We've got a little defense. We got a lot of offense. 7:28 left in the half.
Which is very good, is rebounding the basketball. They're leading right now, rebounding.
They also win on the road. They're 7-1 on the road. The only loss being to Xavier. And that'll still belong to Memphis. And a fresh 35 on the shot clock.
Ron, I think Black is going to be a very important player for Memphis today.
If he stays out of foul trouble.
He has to.
Thomas, nice job with the left hand.
Because he's got the size and body to match up with Clanton and the experience. It's hard to put a freshman in that type of grinder.
The lead was 10. It's down to a deuce. Inside of 7 to play in the first 20. Sykes almost has it picked by Jackson. Now Clanton, the high pick, and he rolls away from it. Right inside to Clanton. Great pass by Wilson, but Clanton can't finish it out. Crawford keeps his head up, and he telegraphed that pass to Shaq Goodwin. Newell to Clanton. Slam dunk, Keith Clanton.
Great transition by UCF, but those are the plays they have to be careful with because they have to finish them, because if they don't, Memphis is going the other way, and they will let you run like that just to get in a track meet with you up and down.
Clanton, 2-time All-Conference USA. Preseason Player of the Year, too. Inside Black, you said you liked him, Coach, but he's got to finish that shot.
He's got to. He's point blank.
Chippies.
But he's got the size to create problems for Clanton.
Black is 6'9", 262. Clanton is 6'9", 250. Matt Williams has to give it up.
This is a good pace for UCF right now. They need to have good shot selection. And they got 2 really good finishers in Newell and Sykes.
Well, the shot clock went to 6, but we've got an offensive foul against UCF.
There you see Newell right there on that steal. And a good job of keeping his head up. He doesn't get out of control. Good pass right there to Clanton for the finish. Just a really good job playing under control, which he has to be able to do.
Crawford, the deep 3, buries it. Chris Crawford, last 3 games, he's averaged 13 points a contest. Boy, if he heats up, it could be ugly.
Without question, he's playing with so much more patience this year than a year ago.
He has fought his way through numerous shooting slumps this season, and Shaq Goodwin picks up the foul, and it's a hard foul. And that'll be the 2nd personal foul on Goodwin.
What Memphis is trying to look for is a high-low look, and the guard sagged off to take away the inside game, and Crawford was wide open, and Goodwin hit him with a really good pass. And that's the thing with Memphis, Ron. When they can go inside out and have that versatility, they're awful tough to beat. You got to pick your poison with them and take one of the 2 away.
That's what we were talking about earlier this morning, just taking things away. But there is Casey Wilson. 51% from beyond the arc. That's 4th best in the country.
And he does a real good job of stretching the defense because he plays the 4 spot, but he can hit that shot from the top of the key.
Donnie Jones telling us yesterday that Casey Wilson earned the start today. Thomas for three. Black tried to tip it into the hands of Keith Clanton. Clanton now with 6 rebounds already in the ballgame.
The biggest thing, though, they're keeping Memphis out of transition right now.
Thomas stays with Sykes. The quick flick shot. Rebounded by Thomas. Here comes Chris Crawford, a very dangerous shooter, the junior out of Memphis. DJ Steffens, for the most part, has been very quiet. Sykes will commit the foul, and that'll be his second personal foul. Time out on the court, 3:50.
UCF hanging on to a lead over Memphis here at home, and a lot of people have questioned what this UCF team has to play for this year. They don't have a postseason chance because of NCAA. So what are they playing for? Well, that's something that Donnie Jones has tried to help his team out with. He has brought speakers in just about every week to talk about life and motivation and leadership. Stan Pykavich was the man he brought in this week. I got to hear him talk to the team yesterday. Stan played at Auburn a couple of years in the NBA, and his message was just about what the best do, how hard they work, the way they perform when the spotlight is on. And one thing he said that I really liked, Ron, he said the best leave a legacy by leading a life that's more than about just you. It was stuff that you could tell really spoke to these guys.
Absolutely, and I think both coaches, and we know them both well, Donnie Jones and Josh Pastner, they teach their guys a lot of life skills, not just basketball skills. And we've all been in Josh's practices talking about their homework, and Donnie does the same thing. And a whistle and a foul, and that's going to go against Daquan Walker.
You know, Ron, being a coach, especially now in college, is more than just teaching basketball. Yeah. It's about teaching life skills and helping young people through a very important stage of their life.
Absolutely. And both take that very seriously. Here's Joe Jackson at the line. 9 of his last 10 free throws make it 10 of 11.
Yeah, both of these two coaches are very positive people. You know, I think Johnny Jones does a really great job of letting his kids play, always encouraging them. And we talked about Josh so much. So, I mean, both of these two coaches will do a really good job as positive role models.
Well, right now, UCF leads it by 3. Clanton has 7 of the last 10 UCF points. Walker got in no man's land, and they turned it over. That is the 8th turnover for UCF, and we have a whistle and a foul.
You know, if I'm Coach Jones, I'm telling him the guy that brings the ball up the court can't be the guy that initiates the shot. 2 or 3 times, the guy that brought it up is the guy that's trying to take it to the basket. Memphis is too good a team to think that you can bring it up and then attack the basket. You got to pass the ball around, get them moving left to right more defensively, so then you can slash.
Rod Days, number 5, will get his first action. He checks into the lineup for UCF.
Ron, these last 3 minutes and 36 seconds are really important.
Oh, yeah.
As well as UCF has played, they want to go in with the lead.
Tariq Black, after the miss, has it rejected by Clanton. It'll belong to UCF. That is why Keith Clanton is the all-time leading rebounder, shot blocker, you name it.
But what Black does on this play, he leads with the ball instead of his body. He exposes the ball. He's got to put his body between the ball and the basket to try to draw the foul.
You see Josh Pastner going think. They got to concentrate on their free throws because they're only 2 of 7. Lazy pass this time by Clanton. Jackson gives it up. Crawford rattles home the 3, his second of the ball game.
You can tell Jackson and Crawford are used to playing with each other. As Jackson got to the high post, he knew Crawford was in the corner knocking down the 3.
Even with a hand in his face, Crawford has great range, and this is our first tie of the ball game. Clanton will try to untie it, and he does.
It's senior day, baby.
0 for his last 8 from beyond the arc, and Josh Pastner doesn't like the fact they let him go. Now, he has shot a lot of three-pointers. It's not like Keith Clanton doesn't have it in his game. And it'll belong to Memphis.
But
Watch
But
Josh
he did
Kester.
a great job of staying behind the line and knocking it down. Josh didn't think the closeout was quick enough. You think he's into this game?
I love it. And he's so mild-mannered when we go out with him.
But he's so passionate about what he does. You know, you put stuff up on the board in the scouting report, and then when the guys don't do it, it does frustrate you.
And they go over it time and time again. One of our buddies, Doug Collins, used to call it a 94-foot vapor lock. Crawford again. This time he gets a wide-open look.
And again, Memphis now is getting some penetration, and they're going in under control. The guy penetrating is not trying to shoot it.
They try to answer it. Up ahead. Crawford again. Slam dunk, Chris Crawford.
And this is what Memphis can do to you so quickly with that transition.
11 points for Chris Crawford. 3 of 3 beyond the arc. They've got their first lead of the ball game. You know, everybody talks about seedings and all this kind of stuff when it comes to the NCAA tournament. It doesn't matter. You get in the tournament, no matter what you're seeded, you still have to play. Memphis will be seeded, but they're going to be a dangerous team, Coach.
Well, they are. Number one, because of their depth. They've got a lot of guys that can play a lot of different positions, and they make it tough. The other thing that they really do, they handle the ball. They're number one in assist-to-turnover ratio. They normally get a good shot and don't give you a good one. And lastly, the most important, they transition offense. They have quick strike. They can get separation. They can also come from behind just like they're doing today. They're awful, awful tough team to wind up trying to get a defensive game plan for.
Absolutely, and they're on a 9-3 run now as they've hit their last 3 consecutive field goals. And they've got their first advantage. It's by a deuce. You said it about the 3-minute mark. This is important.
Oh, without question. I mean, UCF has been playing their hearts out, and then they look up the score and we're down. How can we play much better? You know, and that's what it does. It kind of takes the heart out of you. So it's important for them to regroup. It would be nice boost for UCF to go in with the lead at half.
Donnie Jones' team shooting 44% so far. And Stephon Blair will go to the line, the freshman out of Fort Lauderdale. Only 3 points in the last 3 games total.
They've got a lot of high hopes for him. They believe he is going to be a really fine player for them.
Crawford, he's had the hot hand. He'll give it up. Thomas launches the 3, and he makes the 3.
Now, the difference is that Memphis is shooting now and earlier. They're getting uncontested threes because they're getting penetration. Guys are getting to the spot a lot quicker and getting set.
That makes it a 12-3 run now for the Tigers. They are 4 of 9 beyond the arc. Jackson now pushing Blair out. Newell will launch the 3. 2 blue jerseys around the basketball. Memphis looks like they're sharing the ball a lot more now. And Tariq Black slammed up.
And that's what he should be doing. Yeah, he's so big, so strong in there. He's got to use that physicality. That time he took advantage of the freshman.
One of the characteristics this season for this Memphis team, sharing the basketball. Weren't really doing it in the early going. They are now. UCF cannot get sloppy this last 48 seconds. Newell forces the pass, and they'll turn it over. 9 or 10 turnovers now for UCF in the ballgame.
One of the things Memphis is trying to do when UCF is picking the side of the floor, whether or not it's right or left, is keeping the ball on that side of the floor and not letting them reverse it.
It's about a 10-second difference between the shot and the game clock. And timeout's going to be called by Memphis, who have made their last 5 field goal attempts. Just a reminder, coming up at the State Farm halftime show, we'll break down this first half between UCF and Memphis, and we'll get you caught up as to what else is happening around the rest of Conference USA. We'll have all the numbers, and even our highlights will be in color this week. Paid the extra money.
A lot of times fans want to know, well, why would they take a timeout when they're up? Because you have a timeout that if you don't use in the first half, you lose it. And so coaches have an assistant coach that said, Coach, we got one, we got to take it. And so that's why they take it.
It's kind of been a tale of a half of a half because Donnie Jones's team came out incredibly strong in the early going. They built that 10-point lead. Memphis looked like they weren't quite in it emotionally, not with that energy that Josh Pastner talks about so many times. And then it is flip-flopped here about the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Well, it's style of play, Ron, because when you get Memphis in transition, they're awful tough. And when they went to, I thought when Josh went to the smaller lineup to get the tempo up, that was the key in turning this thing around.
Memphis, their last 5 field goal attempts have made it. 10 to shoot. Getting up in the air was Johnson. Turns it over, pokes it away from Newell. Blair's got it, and he'll try to force it up, and he's got it.
That was a big-time shot. Johnson made a bad pass, but he sprinted back and really challenged on the layup.
Final 1 second. Jackson, no. No foul, nothing. So UCF was able to lead by as many as 10 in this ball game. Memphis went on a big run on Donnie Jones' Knights team. That's why the Tigers lead it by 5 at intermission, 34-29. Here's Jen with John.
Coach, you said you needed to get a better effort in the first half than you got against Xavier Tuesday. Did you get it?
Well, we started off a little slow, but you got to give Central Florida credit. Donnie Jones is a great coach. He had his team ready to go. They got good players. I mean, that's a great program, UCF, and they're very well coached.
So why were you so much better later in this first half?
Well, we made some shots. We picked our intensity up. But you got to give full credit to Central Florida. Donnie Jones, big-time coach, has done a great job with Central Florida. That's a good basketball team we're playing.
Thanks, Coach. Ron?
All right, UCF 3-6 when they trail at halftime. Memphis outscored them 14-5 the last 3:54. On senior day, Keith Clanton helped them open up a 10-point advantage early on, but Memphis now leads at intermission. The State Farm halftime show coming your way right after the break. Lead it by 5 at intermission, 34-29, as we take a look at our State Farm marquee matchup. Jackson versus Clanton. Jackson quietly got control of this basketball game about halfway through.
Well, he did, because UCF had really had control, and Jackson stepped up with his leadership, and his defense really did a great job. But here's the guy, senior Clanton, his folks in the stands, emotional finish to his career here. Did a great job making himself available defensively, coming over, shutting down the lane. There you see him stepping up, knocking down the three. He did it at both ends of the court, inside and outside. But then it became the Joe Jackson show with steals and running this Memphis transition. He did a tremendous job of making the right decisions, whether or not to take the short jump shot, kick it off to someone else. He just keeping tremendous body control. He is the leader unequivocally of this Memphis team.
No question about it. So the Knights, they only trail by 5. Second half straight ahead, along with the rest of the State Farm.
He had 1, and in the run, they wound up giving up 9. So I thought that was critical.
Now the clock, the shot clock didn't start. Game clock did. Let's take a look at the scoring leaders from the first 20 minutes of play. Crawford, obviously, with 11. In fact, he scored all of those 11 first half points in the final 5:20. Jen, you talked to Donnie Jones at halftime. What were his thoughts?
Well, he really liked the way that they established Keith Clanton inside, and that Clanton showed some toughness in that first half, but they said they've got to continue to run their offense. Memphis's pressure sped them up at times and forced some of their young guards to make quick decisions. So he said they really need to work on running the offense, and defensively, they've got to know where Chris Crawford is. Thomas,
the pull-up jumper, buries it. Once again, though, UCF, without the services of Tristan Spurlock, the junior, who's averaging over 11 points a game, being held out because of injuries for a precautionary reason. And that's a big loss because he's also a big body at 6'8".
Well, he really is, although I thought UCF did a great job in the first half playing without him and compensating, because what really got him in trouble with their perimeter game more so than their inside game.
Well, Newell started the game hot, misses that one. Johnson comes down with it. Thomas, a mismatch on Newell. Over Clanton, the tip by Goodwin, no. DJ Stephens, no. Wilson swats it out. It'll belong to Memphis.
And I tell you, Memphis had a lot of clear opportunities on that particular play. Thomas does a really good job of getting the ball down low and creating. And Stephens normally finishes those, Ron.
Absolutely, he does, usually emphatically. Goodwin inside, over Wilson. He got away from the defense.
When Goodwin learns to use his body better, and as a freshman, it's tough, but as he gets older, he'll start to use that body and that frame to seal people.
One thing I think if you're UCF, you have to be careful not trying to play 1-on-5 at this point, because when they were sharing the basketball, they had the lead. Now they find themselves down by 9.
And also having some patience, because obviously when Josh put a smaller team in, he wanted to try to get a faster tempo. And one way to slow the tempo down is control the game with your offense.
Well, Memphis on an 18-5 run, carrying over to the first half. And they'll let Daquan Walker set things up at 14 versus Memphis in the first game.
We haven't seen a lot of Sykes.
No. Clanton from the outside, and he buries it. Keith Clanton on senior day already with 15 in the ball game. He came in averaging about 15. He's done his part, Coach.
Well, he has. He needs some help from the perimeter guys.
That man right there, Isaiah Sykes. Sykes at 15.8 a game. He is their leading scorer. Doesn't get it. Everybody just jumping up on top of the rim. Stepped out. It'll belong to UCF.
You know, guys are trying to get in this lane now and do the kind of that finger roll instead of just going in there and just planting their feet and going straight in the air and shooting a short jump shot. The Chris Paul finger roll. I mean,
Tony Parker teardrop.
Yeah. So just go in there, pull up, and take the short jump shot.
Which is hard to do. That short little jumper.
Not if you practice it.
You do what? Wilson, great spin move, but he can't finish it. And DJ Stephens goes down hard. Stephens once again playing with that injured left shoulder. He hasn't practiced since October because they don't want him having contact.
Well, again, I don't know on that. I mean, that's just kind of basketball and kind of let them play.
And now that hurts because that's 3 on Sykes. You got to come down. You know,
yeah, but I mean, it's,
no, I see what
no
you're saying.
harm, no foul.
There you go. We're old school, though. Johnson did not get a field goal made in the first half. Stephens for 3. Goodwin trying to swat it, ends up in Sykes' hands. And he'll try to go one-on-one, switching hands. Stephens pulls the rebound away. Stephens now with 8 rebounds in the ball game. Thomas for 3. Clanton, slam dunk with the right hand.
I tell you, UCF defense has really kept them in this thing right now.
That's going to be a travel. We'll go the other way with it. Keith Clanton, for a guy that's 6'9", 250, not afraid to run the court, Coach.
No, he's not. He doesn't get many like this, and he wants to show off on senior day. Fear the beard.
I tell you, he is such a nice young man, too, to talk to.
You know, he really has, and they've been able to build the program around them. You know, going for another 20-win season. He's just done an outstanding job.
Well, now he's got all 4 of the night's second-half points. Can they cut this 5-point lead down? Clanton will try the 3 again, and he buries it.
And look for Shaq to come out of the game. I know after he gave up the first 3 in the first half, and Coach went past and went nuts, you know there's going to be a substitution on that play.
And UCF on a 7-0 run as Clanton hits his second from beyond the arc. He's got 20 in the ball game already. They go inside. Goodwin can't finish it. Here come the Knights again. A chance to tie or take the lead. Inside, Clanton.
He's too much for the freshman. He's just too much for the freshman. No, nothing negative on Goodwin, but it's just too much.
Keith Clanton, inside, outside, tough to guard.
Well, yeah, a year ago, Goodwin was in high school. Now, all of a sudden, he's playing one of the best players in Conference USA.
Keith Clanton with 22, and we are tied. Keith Clanton has led the Knights on a 9-0 run here in the second half, as they're shooting 4 of 9, and you've got to believe in the Beard. They do inside the arena today.
Well, Black has come in the game, and believe me, his job is to slow down Mr. Clanton.
Clanton, 2 3-pointers. Mr. Clutch, Chris Crawford again.
And that's the thing Crawford has learned to do so well. Not only being able to take the jump shot off the dribble.
Clanton goes around Black. That's going to be a whistle and a foul. But Keith Clanton has energized the crowd. And his mom, Gloria Leaks, on hand for Senior Day. She likes what she sees from the man in the beard. Game we've got going on in Orlando. Despite 17 points from their bench, Memphis not holding on to a big lead. As Keith Clanton, though, 22 points in the ball game so far. Here's Jen Hildreth with more.
Ron, I just handed Keith Clanton's mom a pair of socks. Let's see those. She was pretty thrilled. Believe in the beard. He's got his face on socks today. It's a special day, obviously. He's playing great. I know you've been there for every home game, right? Little emotions for you guys today?
Yeah, it's really been a fabulous journey. Can't believe that he's a senior, but we're really thrilled that he's had a wonderful experience here at UCF and glad he decided to stay.
You're holding it together very well. Now, he has said you are his motivator. How does he motivate you?
He's just a fine young man, and I'm very proud of his effort. He just makes us proud. He motivates me to just keep going and keep fighting, because I was a single mom years ago, so it's just been a great journey, and we're very proud of him.
Well, I know he is very proud of you, and I just have one more question. Do you believe in the beard?
I believe in the beard, but I hope it gets cleaned up a little bit.
I thought so. Ron?
Oh, that's perfect. Keith's a hospitality management minor, and he's not showing much hospitality to the Tigers of Memphis today. You can see they're on a 10-2 run, courtesy of Mr. Clanton. Jackson floats left, shoots right. The lead is 3.
And I tell you what, Clanton right now is really on a mission. He's aggressively looking for the ball. His teammates are aggressively looking for him. And the biggest thing, Ron, is he's known for his low post play, but most of his damage has come from the perimeter.
He's got a couple of threes already. Now Thomas comes way out to play Newell. Black is leaning on Clanton. Stephens on Wilson. The drive to the hole, and Wilson will go to the line.
One of the things, because Clanton has been so successful, it is forcing UCF to be slower, because to get the ball into a post guy, you got to have a little bit more patience, and that's a good thing. The patience is now creating a situation where they're not turning it over.
Tomorrow, NASCAR heads to the Phoenix International Raceway, where Jimmy Johnson, fresh off his Daytona 500 victory, will look for his 5th win at the Jewel of the Desert. All defending champion Denny Hamlin will be looking to defend his title and bring home the checkered flag. Fox Sports exclusive coverage of the Subway Fresh Fit 500 begins tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern. Tough week for Joe Gibbs Racing last week. Denny Hamlin looked like he was going to be the winner of the Daytona, didn't get it. And neither did Chris Crawford, who slaps his hands. He thought that was down. Only Wilson and Clanton have scored for the Knights here in the second half.
If they could get Sykes going, they would really be a big boost to the Knights right now.
3 ties, 1 lead change. Clanton saw the cutting. Newell couldn't get it to him. Thomas, hesitation, floats the right hand.
And that's that guy, Mr. Thomas. You'd like to have a guy on your team, again, Ron, that you don't have to run any plays for, and he can still produce points for you. And that's what Thomas does. Whether or not he's playing the 3 or the 4, he really does a great job of finishing in around the basket.
Thomas was averaging 19 points a game the 3 previous games before Xavier. Only had 9 in that ball game, and now Walker's going to go out for UCF. Matt Williams will come back in. And the lead goes to 4.
And right now, I think that UCF is trying to surround Clanton with some shooters.
Steffens trying to keep it alive. It'll belong to UCF. I tell you, we've seen more bodies being thrown to the floor today. And here it is.
This game is important to both teams for different reasons.
Absolutely it is. Obviously, Memphis wants to get back on another winning streak after having that 18-game skid snapped Tuesday night. Xavier, UCF looking for their 3rd straight 20-win season.
Yeah, I thought Mr. Black got away with a foul.
I think he did too. Crawford rifles the pass inside to Tariq Black. And Donnie Jones is going to call a timeout, and that is a smart timeout because I think a lot of the guys were showing some frustration. Good pass inside, and Black does what he does best.
He does. And again, that's where Memphis can hurt you in so many. They got so many really outstanding finishers, whether or not it's Steffens or Black or Crawford or Jackson or Thomas. It doesn't matter. That's why you really have to keep that team out of transition.
One of the positives for Josh Pastner since he's been coached, their assist to field goals mate's always been above 50%, but this year an astonishing 62%.
I can't even imagine that. We didn't even chart that with my team because we had no chance of it being significant. But that just shows you how selfish this Memphis team is and also how skilled they are.
Absolutely. Last 6 games, they've had positive assist-to-turnover ratio. And the lead is 6 as we close in on 13 left in the ballgame. Nice shot from the inside by Sykes.
That was a good call by Donnie Jones. He knew he needed to get Mr. Sykes involved, ran a play on the baseline to get him the ball.
Now, Sykes pressed so much in that first game between these two teams. The fall away by Jackson. Once again, they need a basket. Jackson comes up.
He just plays. He's playing in a speed that he's comfortable with. You can tell by looking at how he's in control.
UCF will have it. Isaiah Sykes, each year, the previous 3 years, all of his numbers have gone up. Coach says he gets what he calls grind buckets. Now he has it picked. Crawford gives it up. Jackson for 3. Yes.
And that's the maturity of this Memphis team. Jackson is the guy that's on fire, Ron, and that's the guy that they're going to.
And that puts Memphis on a 10-2 run, extends the lead to 9. Matches their biggest advantage of this ball game so far. Sykes. Jackson the rebound, and Coach Pastner loves when he sees Jackson go that high for a board. Black look for the dunk. Whistle and a foul.
That was a big-time run out.
Summary so far, the points in the paint. Tigers with a slim 4-point advantage, but the bench points, they're plus 17 in the ball game. And let's check in with Jen Hildreth. You were listening in on Donnie Jones' huddle, Jen.
Yeah, Ron, and he was absolutely calm in the center of that huddle. Went about 20 seconds as he just moved his little magnets around on his playboard, got the play set up. Look for Clanton here. He just drew up a play for Clanton and said, let's go do it. No worry at all there. Very calm in the huddle for UCF.
Donnie's always been like that. I mean, that's one thing that's made him such a successful coach.
Memphis on a 10-2 run. They've opened up this advantage by 9. Black reaches behind. Clanton pokes it away. Crawford, that's a tough shot. The floater, and he gets it to go.
But, Ron, that's the type of play Black has to make, and he's got to be able to defend post guys like that for Memphis to go far this season in postseason.
Wilson has it swatted by Steffens, but there's a foul on the play. Crawford with 15 points in the ball game, but here's the D.
There you see Black. He's fronting right there, so it's not an easy pass. He's three-quartering him because he's off the post area, and he slips around and makes the steal. He's got to work like that against scoring post people.
And that was the problem in the Xavier game. They like fronting the post. The boy had some problems with it.
Well, when guys got off the low post block, they just let him catch the basketball still where they could score without putting a lot of pressure. And that time you saw when he stepped off, he went to three-quarter and came up with a steal.
And Casey Wilson gets the second. He's more than doubled his average from last season. And Memphis, the lead is still 9.
For UCF, this is a very important time. They want to cut this lead right now and get this to a couple possession ball game.
Plenty of time on the shot clock. Jackson, Black, T.J. Steffens, unselfish play. 3 players touched the ball on that.
I tell you what, great passing, and a lot of it was caused because of Jackson's ability to come off the ball screen. Good touch pass right there. And I know Steffens is disappointed that he didn't finish that one.
And that'll send D.J. Steffens to the line. 0 for 1 today, 4 points, but he does have 8 rebounds.
But you talk about a guy with a lot of pride. You talked about it earlier, how disappointed he was in himself. And that's what you want. You want the players to be disappointed with the way they play and not point the fingers at other things that may have happened. Look for a change of defense this time for Memphis.
The lead is 11. Inside of 11 to play. Now Steffens pushing around Stephon Blair inside. Another whistle, another foul.
See, but this is where Steffens got to understand. He can't get in a shoving match with bigger post people.
Right.
He's got to use his quickness and his athleticism. Once Blair caught the ball, he just should have got off of him and tried to stay between him and the basket.
Instead, he picks up his 4th personal foul, and he'll have to go down. He does so many things other than just score and rebound. I mean, he tips so many balls, keeps them alive.
Well, he does, but he's not a weightlifter, so he doesn't want to get into a bully game with guys in the post area. He wants to use his quickness to get around them and stay between them and the basket.
He takes a seat. Blair at the line, the Jamaican-born player. 2012, he won the shot put at the Florida Region 4 3A Championship. You don't want to mess with a shot putter.
I don't think so.
No.
And certainly
number
not
one.
to get into a wrestling match with him in a low block.
Jackson, this time off the mark to the left side. Crawford quickly picks up Sykes. He's his shadow now. Donnie Jones wants Blair to go down.
High ball screen.
Rule dribbling in traffic. Clanton already with a couple of threes. Not this one. Memphis basketball.
Sykes did a good job on the glass, trying to get offensive rebound. That's one thing that they've done. That's a tough call right there. I think the referee got it right. I think it went off for Sykes. It wasn't popular, but it was right.
Good crowd here inside of UCF Arena today. Vocal crowd. Goodwin inside. Black has it picked by Sykes. The foul will be on Sykes, and that's his 4th.
One of the things that Memphis likes to do is they like to stack their post guys up high, and one of them rolls and the other pops, and they go high-low with each other, and they really have good passing post people.
At the line, it'll be Tariq Black. Only 2 for his last 10 from the free throw line coming into this game, and that string will continue.
And I keep telling you, if this Memphis team is really to go far, Black has to be able to play well and step up, because he's got all the ability in the world.
Preseason All-Conference USA, the numbers on him today. Second team Conference USA last year. And the lead still double digits, inside of 10 to play.
Right now, UCF needs Newell to step up. They need someone else to step up and make a couple baskets for them.
Clanton thought about the three. Black came out to meet him. Shot clock at 10. Newell. Penetration left hand. Traveling call. Donnie Jones cannot believe it.
Well, I think he felt Newell was pushed or leaned on a little bit. And right now, he wants a technical. He wants it. Yeah, that was one he wanted to get.
Yeah.
The official gave him every ability to step back, but Donnie wanted to get it.
Let's see it again. Let's see if it wasn't. No, I don't think so.
I wasn't so sure that was
I think Donnie's got a legitimate beef there.
Yeah. And he knew he did. I mean, at that point, you know.
And nevertheless, you can see the points off turnovers. The Tigers almost doubling up the Knights as we're closing in on 9 to play. Jackson falls, and that's going to be a traveling call. We'll go the other way. I don't think that was a...
He must...
I think it was just a warning. It wasn't a technical foul. It was a warning.
I tell you what, I've never seen a coach to say that much and just get a warning.
Well, I mean, is that from personal experience?
I'm telling you. Donnie pushed the envelope pretty good on that to get his team going.
Well, he reeled it in, though, didn't he? Clanton thought about it. Black went for the fake. Clanton scoop, not the score.
You know, but that's good coaching. A lot of times when your team is flat a little bit, you have to show them as a coach that, hey, fellas, I'm in here fighting. We can still win this thing. And that's what I thought Donnie was trying to do. Even if he got a technical, he was trying to let them know that, hey, I'm still in here and I'm still pitching for you.
23 and 6 for Keith Clanton. I'll tell you what, he's laying everything he's got on this basketball court this afternoon in his final home game.
You know, sometimes you worry about guys in their final home game being too emotional. And I think Clanton is playing at just the right pace that he needs to. Maybe because that's his mom's up there in the stand cheering for him.
Well, he and his squad have 8:43 to cut this lead down. Jackson got around. Walker went for the slam. Rejection by Blair.
Big time play by Blair coming over from the weak side. And on that play, what Memphis does is try to clear out the help because as Jackson's driving, both guys at the high post.
Jackson tried to poster Blair. Look at it again from shot putter to shot blocker.
Well, I don't think he was expecting him to come over like that, but he came over and got it.
I love Joe, though, had wanted to do it, though, you know?
Without question, without question. But he came right back, and now he's at the line, and that's what I'm talking about. His expressions have not changed. He's still keeping his focus, and that's his maturity from a year ago.
Absolutely. And the numbers on Jackson, let's check in with Jen.
Ron and Perry, you know, I asked Joe, I said, what's going through your mind when you're on the floor? Because his expression does rarely change, as you said, Perry, and he said, I'm always trying to think of ways to get my teammates going. Fine, maybe not an easy play, but a better situation. And he's thinking about defense, getting a steal, making something happen on that side of the ball.
Absolutely. He's back-to-back MVP of the Conference USA tournament. Try to complete the trifecta coming up in a couple weeks in Tulsa. Newell, crossover, trying to do a lot himself. Goodwin comes up.
That was a smart play. The guards get ahead. They know a big guy's behind them. So what do? You stop and you let them run you over.
Again.
They see he knows who's behind him, and so he just takes the bump and picks up the foul.
That is number 2 on Clanton, and Thomas will trigger in the inbounds pass. UCF's got to get on track offensively the last 7 minutes. And one field goal is Crawford. Clutch hits again. Whitney gets a little smile.
Tough shot, Ron.
Yeah.
That was a tough shot.
Crawford having a whale of a game. 18 points on 7 of 9 shooting for Chris Crawford. Clanton for 3. Yes, Keith Clanton. His 3rd three-pointer made today.
What's creating that is the spacing that they're getting on the ball screens.
Clanton had made 8 three-pointers coming into today for the season. He's got 3 this afternoon. And a timeout's been called, but the lead is still at 10. 7 minutes and 42 seconds left to play. And we'll take a timeout. Keith Clanton doing everything he can in this ball game. He's got 27 points, but his squad still trails by 10. Memphis is led by 13. The lead is 10, and UCF needs that man to step up even more, right, Jen Hildreth?
All of a sudden, Ron, he's like a three-point dynamo out there. Coming into this game, in the previous 7 games, he was 1 of 12 from 3. But do note that 1 came against Memphis.
Here, how about 14 in the second half, better than his 13 in the first half. Say he is a heck of a player.
You know, and the thing about it is he does it in a very calm manner because he's really known for his low post game. That's what most of the coach fear of him, playing in that low post, and he's showing now his versatility.
UCF led by 10 early on in the first half. And they turn it over, Memphis, and here comes UCF. Newell gives it up, bad pass. He was looking for Williams. He was indecisive, it seemed, Coach.
Well, yeah, I think he thought he was going to get a pass the first time from Williams, or was that Walker thought he was going to get the pass the first time right there, and he didn't. It looked like it was deflected, though, a little bit.
Well, it is Memphis's ball, almost 7 minutes to play in the ball game.
Whenever Memphis goes to this double high stack, they're looking for their post guys to roll.
And they did, but they throw it away, and here comes Newell again. Sykes looks at the 3, takes the 3. Up ahead, Crawford's got Newell to beat with the right hand, and he's fouled from behind.
Newell was smart that time not to try to get him up top, because that's when the flagrants start to come into play. In fact, he tried to be slick and just kind of push him from the waist, hoping the referee might miss it. Crawford normally finishes those plays. Ron, this young man has really had a tremendous year for Memphis, and has been one of the reasons for their success. Number one, coming in off the bench and handling that, and then coming in and making contributions, whether or not he's at the point or whether or not he's on the wing.
And the numbers on him today. And
there was a little pushing and shoving right there.
And they're going to have an officials timeout. I'm not sure if they're going to go to the monitor to take a look at something. Donnie Jones wants to find out what's going on.
The officials are going to go to the monitor.
Well, they're going to look at something that was going on. Shoving underneath. I think you're right, Coach. Goodwin and Clanton.
You got one official, his job is to look in that direction, and it's a dead ball. I mean, and so they ought to be able to pick it up. But you know, right now we go to the monitor for just about everything just to make sure.
Well, Clanton looked like he had more of a pshaw, you know, with his hand. Like, come on, young man. You know, when you call me when you start 119 consecutive games, okay, and I'll listen.
Well, again, I mean, poor Goodwin. This was an education for him today, and something that he'll go back and take this film and be able to learn from, because he's playing against one of the best low post players, the post players in Conference USA, and maybe even in the country. And
right.
So, you know, that's how you get better.
And on the other end, Josh Pastner's squad, when they went to the smaller lineup in the first half, kicked it in a different gear, and they looked at it enough, and they're going to meet.
You know, sometimes, Ron, those situations, by taking time and going to look at it, you draw attention to it as opposed to just kind of letting it go
right.
and step in and say, okay, you guys, clean it up, no more, and then just letting it go.
Well, when we do come back, Chris Crawford will be at the line. The last 3 games, he's averaged about 13 points a ball game. But today he's got 19. 7 of 9 shooting, 4 of 5 beyond the arc. This matches, by the way, his season high of 19.
He's coming over, I think, to tell us what's going on.
Okay.
One nudges one, the other one pushes the other one a little bit harder.
Nothing. Okay.
It was a pshaw foul.
Yeah, just like what I said. I mean, it's one of those where you just kind of step in and say, fellas, knock it off, let's play.
Now we appreciate the officials coming over and keeping us posted what's going on. And
well, they all
Crawford
know you, Ron. That's it. They want to make sure you know everything, buddy.
I think that means I'm old. Yeah, the lead stays at 11. Black has gotten away with that a couple of times, Coach, of just sneaking over Clanton's hip. Didn't get away with it this time.
No, and at this point, just letting him catch it and being there on the catch was enough, because you don't want to keep sending him to the line.
Keith Clanton on the season, 64% from the stripe. Jaron Johnson will come back into the lineup for the Tigers, and Black is going to have to sit down.
And this is part of the versatility that Memphis had. Now Thomas slides down to the 4, and you know he's very strong. He can rebound the basketball.
High school jersey retired February 8th. Keith Clanton was at Orlando Christian Prep. Never has missed a game. That's remarkable.
Well, it really is. And, you know, it's a lot of pressure a lot of times when kids stay home and play and then are asked to be the bell cow for the program. And to be able to do that in the way he's done that and represent this institution, you got to give him a lot of credit.
Cuts the lead down to 9.
Memphis likes these high ball screens.
Clanton out with 29, 7 off his career high. Shot clock at 10. Jackson, great pass inside to Shaq Goodwin.
And that's what Jackson can do. When Jen was talking about he keeps his focus looking for that next play, that's the next play. Understanding time and score.
UCF 10 of the last 15 points were free throws up until the jam by Sykes.
They just ran a simple curl for Sykes off the high post, and he came off wide open. They have to do something to get him going.
Well, DJ Steffens will come back into the lineup for Memphis. He's got 4 fouls. Jackson sees an opening, dishes again to Goodwin.
And again, what they're doing is it's a double high ball screen, and Jackson can go off of either screen, and they roll one of the post guys.
They run that so well, though, Coach. Unselfishly.
Without question.
Newell with a left hand, and he's able to get it around the outstretched hands of Crawford. But if you're UCF, can't really trade baskets.
No, but you know that's why this ball stays in Jackson's hands, because he's making all the correct passes right now.
Top Crawford gets a step on the defense, and he walked with it. That'll be the 14th turnover on Memphis this afternoon.
Yeah. And here, right there, you see Jackson penetrating. When Clanton steps up, he finds the open guy right there. Again, he finds the open guy, Goodwin, right there for the layup. You know, Jackson's made so many of the right decisions.
Golden opportunity for the Knights.
They've done a good job of taking away Sykes' penetration.
He has to adjust his shot because DJ Stephens was right in his face, and going hard to the floor is Casey Wilson. And he's going to be slow to get up.
There you see the shot was challenged. Good rebound right there.
Wow. We've had some bodies thrown around today. Somebody called George O'Leary the football coach here. We got some players here.
I'd say for both of these two teams, I mean, this game is extremely important. They're playing that way.
At the line, it'll be Sykes. He's got only 6 points in the game. His last game with no double figures came all the way back on January the 12th.
And he's had some opportunities, Ron. I think he's made some of his shots tougher than what they had to be.
How about 2 triple-doubles for this young man this season?
You know, with his explosiveness, you can certainly understand how he could be a handful to stop defensively.
Well, all of a sudden, the lead is down to 7.
And this is where UCF wanted to be.
Crawford had problems with it. Timeout, Memphis. They'll have 2 remaining.
You know, in those situations, the coach does not like what's going on, and a lot of that is not just a single play timeout. It's just over a course of time we have not liked our offensive flow, what we've gotten out of our sets. And outside of Jackson handling the ball, you know, UCF has done a pretty good job of shutting down the rest of the perimeter guys.
Well, when you look at, you know, Memphis, they do so many things well, a lot of different things.
Yeah, and again, the penetration and what they do, they make great decisions off the dribble. Then they find each other and they pass the ball. They share the ball so well, whether or not it's post to post. And then you see them in the transition where they're able to get steals. There's so many ways that they can come and hurt you, and especially in the transition, knocking down the jump shots out of that.
Well, they've got 3 players in double figures today, led by Chris Crawford's 19. Joe Jackson's got 15 and a dozen coming for Adonis Thomas. Only 1 player for UCF in double figures, Keith Clanton with 29. Good job defensively by Sykes.
Again, what they do with the double high post, they send 1 wing underneath and 1 wing over the top, and they try to hit the wing over the top where the help is cleared out, and he can turn and go one-on-one to the basket.
Goodwin almost lost it. Here's Jackson. Wilson on him. It's a mismatch. They give it up. Thomas, tough shot. Put back, Shaq Goodwin, the freshman.
That's why they like this young man. Yeah, that was a big-time play there, sticking his nose in, getting the offensive rebound, and getting the basket for Memphis.
Enormous amount of talent for Shaq Goodwin. Newell will pull up for 3, buries it. And the lead is down to 6.
And that's one of the few times Joe Jackson's gone underneath the screen and Newell made him pay by knocking down the 3.
And a 7-2 run now for the Knights. Shot clock inside of 10. Black had position on Sykes.
And that's what Black does so well. I've been saying that he knows how to use his body and his strength.
Sykes all the way, the reverse. into the hands of Memphis. Sykes goes down hard. And Joe Jackson will settle it down. Josh Pastner putting up his hand as to say easy.
Watch for the ball screen again.
They let the shot clock go back down to 10. Wilson on Jackson. Inside the reverse, no, Wilson's got it. Plenty of time left. Wilson, no. There's going to be a foul because Tarek Black had great position. Keith Clanton just had a grab him, picked up his third. But a key basket coming from Shaq Goodwin on the tip. Josh Pastner likes what his freshman did.
Wilson is in because he's a better defensive player, I think, Ron.
Oh, that hurts. You talked about it earlier, Perry.
Yeah, foul shooting becomes really important late game situations the later the season goes.
Right now, Memphis just 8 of 17 from the line. Newell goes around Goodwin. Sykes inside. Nice pass, and he'll go to the line.
This is a great play by Newell, and this is exactly where UCF wanted to be, in a position where possessions really matter.
And that foul was on Tarek Black, and that is number 5. He has to sit down. Crawford will come back into the game. Jen, you have an update for us?
Yeah, I watched Chris come off the floor the last time, Ron, and he was really favoring that right ankle, and they're saying he actually has an ankle sprain. And he was hopping around behind the bench testing it out a few minutes ago, just told the assistant coaches he was good to go. We'll see.
I love when the players self-medicate.
And now DJ Steffens will come back into the lineup. He, too, playing with 4 personal fouls. Damian Wilson will go out.
You know, foul trouble this time of game doesn't really matter. You need stops, and you need to put the right guys in there that can make the stops.
Well, Sykes and Walker, the only 2 in foul trouble for UCF, each with 4. That's a bad miss. The lead stays at 8 inside of 1:40 to play.
Look for Jackson to handle the ball most of this possession.
And run the shot clock down?
Yes. And come up with a high ball screen late in the shot clock.
And here it comes. Lewis stayed with him. He had a switch. He's on Goodwin now. And a whistle and a foul. And Shaq Goodwin liked what Joe Jackson did on that. Gave him a little slap.
You love freshmen, I tell you what. They make the game interesting.
That's a nice way of putting it. And it'll be 1-1 for Joe Jackson. On the season, 76% from the stripe. Today, just 2 of 6 from the free throw line.
And right now, Josh is telling Crawford no threes. That means go over top on every screen. Switch if you have to, but they don't want to give up a 3.
And the lead is stretched back to double digits. Donnie Jones wants to call a timeout. He'll have 2 remaining.
And what he's trying to draw right now is a quick hitter. He needs something he can make 1 pass, 2 passes max, and get a good-looking shot out of. So that's why he's taking the timeout right now.
Every coach wants to see how his team's going to react in close games. Memphis, at times, they have not reacted well in games decided by 5 or less, but this season, much better than last year.
Well, without question. And I tell you what, obviously Memphis wants to win this game, but I think their effort has been good. I think that they have mentally, they've made adjustments. I think they've done the things that they needed to do, and I think especially Joe Jackson has come out and he's played a whale of a ball game.
Of course, if Memphis wins, they will clinch the outright Conference USA title. Don't forget, in just a couple of weeks, Conference USA tournament will be at the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Newell, the deep three. The tip by Sykes. Count it. Didn't go all the way through. They got to fix the net there. Watch it again.
But again, they went underneath the ball screen, and I thought they were going to switch it or go over the top. You can't give up that shot, but Sykes, this is the jumping ability.
He's got some hops. Jackson sees the double, and he spins away as two UCF Knights fall into each other.
The ball's going to stay in Jackson's hands right now.
Ah, yes. Now Chris Crawford told by Josh Pastner to move away, get far away from him. Still motioning to him. Shot clock at 10. Jackson to DJ Stephens.
Jackson called that. That was a set play. That wasn't just accident.
And then the foul is called with 29 seconds left. We were waiting when it would happen. When would DJ Stephens get an alley-oop?
I tell you what, it's like he shot out of a cannon. I mean, see how explosive he is? Reminds me of you, Ron, back in your days, your playing days.
Only if you had a thick piece of toast.
But Jackson, see, he keeps his head up. You know, he knew that was coming all the way.
Now, I asked DJ Stephens last night, I said, have you ever hit your head on the rim? And he kind of looked at me and goes, thanks for bringing that up, you know. Sykes will try to cut it. 111 career dunks now. The miss. Goodwin tries to keep it alive, and it'll belong to Memphis. Good job by Shaq Goodwin throwing it off Casey Wilson. And Adonis Thomas will have it. Josh Pastner looking at win number 100 as the head coach of Memphis. Crawford throws it into the hands of Casey Wilson. Slam dunk. And a timeout's going to be called. And we got a little pushing and shoving, and Joe Jackson, I think, just got tossed. It looked like Newell got caught up. Josh Pastner came running off the bench, as did Donnie Jones. Here's the steal and dunk again. Casey Wilson cutting the lead down to 8 with this. Middle of the screen. Wilson pushes Jackson. Then they get toe-to-toe.
You know, not knowing it was going to be a timeout, I just think Newell was trying to make sure Jackson didn't catch the ball. And, you know, I mean, a punch wasn't thrown. I mean, I didn't see a whole lot there. No. But still, you know, Joe's got to be smart enough to just kind of walk away because he's such an important part of this Memphis puzzle right now.
Well, the official, I think, was actually pointing for Joe Jackson to go to the bench. No official word if he's been tossed from the ball game yet. Just a reminder, Arizona State USC coming up immediately following this game. Check your local listings. We also have a quick break of the action here. This is our last Conference USA basketball game from 2013. Want to thank the conference. Britton Minoski, of course, the commissioner, everybody that works for the conference, all the coaches and the sports information directors of Conference USA. On behalf of our producer, Joe Vencius, our director, Lonnie Dale, Mike Cheminsky, Dan Bonner, Perry Clark, Jed Hildreth, Debbie Antonelli, thank you so much, folks. You've made it a great year again.
And Ron, again, you've done a tremendous job.
Does that mean you're buying me dinner?
Yeah. Anytime, partner.
Okay. Let's get back to the matter at hand. 19.6 left in the ball game. 8-point lead. Newell is back out on the court. Memphis still in their huddle.
Right now, what Josh is just trying to do is running out of bounds play, and he was just telling him to go back to his bench.
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole lot there, but good officiating. He wanted to make sure he cleaned it on up. I'm not so sure Crawford would be in with that ankle. He was off balance on that last pass that got thrown, that got intercepted.
Well, they're calling it offsetting fouls. So 19.6. All Memphis has to do now is just make sure they get the ball in, number one, and get it to somebody that's a good free throw shooter. Jackson trying to get around, and he was grabbed from behind as he was trying to make the cut by Isaiah Sykes, and that'll be his 5th personal. He'll leave with 10 points and 9 rebounds.
And again, right now, what officials are very much concerned about, understanding their position. They don't want any incidents in their game. They don't want anything at the end of the game that all of a sudden becomes controversial. So they would rather blow a quicker whistle than blow a whistle that's too slow.
And at the line, it'll be Joe Jackson. 17 points today, 7 assists.
And this young man has played a heck of a ball game, not just from a statistical point, but from a mental standpoint. He's got everybody involved. He stepped up. He's been a coach on the floor. He's just done an outstanding job.
And he came up with the big shots when Memphis at times looked like they were reeling as Damian Wilson comes back into the lineup. And that's going to be a technical foul as Joe Jackson gave a shove to Newell. And boy, Josh Pastner is burning a hole in the jersey of Joe Jackson right now in those eyes.
Yeah, just when you compliment him. That's what happens with kids, just when you compliment him. And he had played so well. What Josh was telling him, just get off, let him get the ball in. But these guys get so competitive in wanting to one-up each other that sometimes emotionally it gets in. What Josh is just telling him, you got too much basketball ahead of you, son. You got NBA scouts on the baseline. They're charting everything that you're doing. You got to be a leader. That's not what you want to do.
They're gonna take him to the locker room. Joe Jackson will leave the game. I tell you, and you never say a game is over. We go back to the Tulsa-Houston game we had earlier this year where Tulsa was up by 5 with about 3 seconds left. Houston came back to tie it, but Newell's got to hit the free throws to even get close in this game.
UCF has missed a lot of foul shots late.
Well, Newell gets the second. So the lead is 9. Once again, Arizona State, USC, we send you out to the Pac-12. They're standing by with that ball game. As soon as this one is over, we'll make sure and get it out there. Newell, the long three. Steffens tips it. Damian Wilson over the timeline, and that should be enough. 6 straight Conference USA regular season titles for Memphis. Congratulations to the Memphis Tigers as they go to 25-4 on the year.